like I was saying, it depends on what you want your typography to look like. Now we are going to continue and we are going to move on to the text alignment. Now I can come here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a div. Right, I'm going to create a div, and inside of my div I can just create an h3 and call it Wizra Hub. I can just say Wizra Hub. Now in this div, what I'm going to do now is I will come here and I'm going to call my h3, and inside of my h3 I can decide to give my h3 background color of, say, green, and I already have green, so I just want to adjust my div. So but let me create my div here. I'm going to create my div and make an adjustment. So I'm just going to give it a width of let's say 30 pixel. Okay, so 30 pixel is very small, so let's just make it 100. Yeah, so this looks perfect. So I would come here, let me just bring my background to this place, and now we have it. So I'm going to give the color white. Now I would love to increase this width, so let's make it 400. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, 400 looks nice, or let me say 300. Okay, so this looks perfect. So I'm just going to adjust the height. I just want you guys to know what I'm trying to do. So the height should be like 100 pixels. I hope this is not too much. So this is looking too much. So I'm just going to make it, yeah, 50 is nice. Now, really, I don't even think I would need the height at this moment. So let's just move forward. Now, talking about the h3. Now, the h3 is what I want to do exactly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say we want to talk about text alignment, right? And text alignment controls where your text sits exactly horizontally. That was exactly why I adjusted the height, because I know that we don't really need the height for now. So horizontally, like we want it to either shift from the left to the right or from the right to the middle, you know. So that is what text alignment really is. So now I'm just going to define it and say text align, and I'm just going to say, I can decide to say right, and can you see that I adjusted to the right? I can decide to give it a left. I can decide to bring it to the center, depending on what I want, right? So can you see that? And we have the body, the h1 and the div. So what I'm just going to do, I want to give them spaces. I don't want them to look tacky. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to give it a margin top. Yeah, we talked about this in our last video. So a margin top of let's give it 4 pixel. Oh, it's very, very small. This is very small. So I'm just going to say, let's give it 16. Oh, and yes, it had adjusted. So now can you see that it had already adjusted the text alignment? So we can adjust our alignment anyhow we want, as long as we are targeting this particular text, the h3. Now I want you guys to note something. Now let's try that same thing to our typography and let's see how it's going to work. Can you see that it actually worked? It as well worked on our typography. Now the reason why I created the div is because I want you guys to know what I'm doing. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the div. And can you see that it is not, the text align is not working for the div? Why? Because we said it should be text aligned. Most people used to, most people do not get this. They find it difficult to understand the difference between text align and you adjusting a container. Yeah, we know that our text is also a box, but when it comes to div, it's not, we don't use text align, right? We use something else. We are not going to get, we are getting there, but it's not what we are talking about now. So text align should be used for text and nothing more. So can you see that in our H1 we use text align and it's moved from this place to this place? It moved from the left to the center. If I should adjust it now and adjust it to the right, it's going to move to the right. And now can you see that works for text, as it says, as it's implied, it says text align and not the other round, and not something like something else to align. Do you understand? So now it only works for text. So if you create a div and you come here and say text align, div would not work. So let's try to adjust it to the right, and can you see that it's just there? It's not working. So there are other things to make your div get aligned to the left, to the to the right, or to the center, but we have not gotten there right now. So I just want to clarify that, because most people they misunderstand that and use the text align for something else, which is not supposed to be. So text align is specifically for text and nothing more. Now I'm going to take this back to, I'm just going to comment this because we want it by the left, and that is it. So that is text align. That is the text alignment. That is how it works. So lest I forget, we also have what we call the text, the justify. Right after we've worked on the right alignment, we've worked on the center, we've worked on the left alignment. Now we can choose to justify our work, and justification works for large longer text. So now, as I've written Wizard Hub, I can decide to create my lorem ipsum, just to create something. Maybe I'm not going to specify. So right now we have, can you see that we have a lot of long text, but right now it is seated at the center of the div. Now I can decide to give it a left alignment, and can you see I can decide to give it right. But there is something we call the justification. So now I'm just going to justify it, and it's going to justify it. It's going to, and can you see what it does? It is spanning across the whole div. Can you see? So if probably you are working on a longer text or a sentence, and that is looking somehow, it's not looking like, it's not going to look good when you want to center it, and at the same time it's not going to look good between those three values, probably the right, the left, or the center. Justification might be the right alignment for it. So that is another way. So we have the text, let me just write them down. We have the text alignment of to the right, we have to the center, and we have to the left, and then justify. So I'm just going to comment on all of this, and that is it. So justify, we have the right, we have the left, we have the center, and then we have to justify. Another thing is the line height and the letter spacing. Right, so the line height, these two properties make a huge difference in how readable your text is going to look like. So you have to, there are some text that is going to they are just going to be shrinked, and it will be difficult for the reader to read it. But this property, they help the line height of each line in the text and make it readable. So let's try that. So I'm going to create, let's create another p tag here, and I'm just going to say lorem ipsum. I don't want to create it inside of this div because I'd already started the div, so I'm just going to bring it outside. And I'm going to give it lorem. So yeah, we have that. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to give this a margin bottom that is going to give it a space, or I can decide to give it a shorthand. And yes, we have it. So I've given it a shorthand. Remember, we discussed this in our last video, where this 16 pixel works for the vertical. It would work for the vertical aspect of our box. Now let's move forward to the p tag. Right, so I'm just going to use an element selector for this p tag, and I'm going to create a margin. Let's give it a margin of so right now I'm going to give it a margin left. I just want to margin left of let's say 10 pixel, and yeah, that's giving me margin left. So now we want to work on the line height. So I'm just going to say line height of 1.6. And can you see that it had already given its spaces? So because line height of 1.6, this 1.6, right, is the sweet spot for box and for body text. It gives your paragraph breathing space and makes them much easier to read. Let's try 1 and let's see what is going to happen. Can you see that 1 is looking tacky kind of? So but let's try 2 and let's see what is going to. This is looking too much. So 1.6 sits right there, like it's just it's adjusted and it's just in between. It's not too much, it's not too small. Now let's try the letter spacing and let's see how that would look. So I'm just going to say let's try 1 and let's see. Okay, 1 is not working, so let's try 0.5. Okay, sorry. So let's do 1 pixel and let's see. So can you see that the letter spacing had adjusted, right? So but this looks too much, so I'm just going to try 0.5 px, and this looks so good. So this is looking more subtle. It's not too much, it's not too small. This is perfect. So that is how to, if I should say, can you see that this is looking tacky, it's not really too good. So 0.5 looks perfect for this. It's giving it this the breadth it deserves. Can you see that this is looking good? So there's another one. There's another one I want to call word spacing, and that gives spaces in between your words, like in between different words from Lauren to Ipsum, So let's try that. I'm just going to make it visible for you guys to see at first. So, and can you see now that 20 pixel makes it so obvious? So but let's try 4 pixel and let's see. So this is looking good. So 4 pixel is looking good. Or let's try 2 and let's see. I'm just going to remove it first. Yeah, 2 is as well okay for it. So that is how to adjust your spaces, your text spaces for your users for easier readability. Now there's another thing that we call the text decoration and the transform, right? So let's quickly work on that, and we are going to try with the nav, and I'm going to say so let's just use nav, and I'm going to say home. I'm going to call this home, and I would rather love to put it at the top, so let's just take it up. Yeah, so it's up already. And now I'm going to duplicate this and say about us, and as well going to say contact us. Say contact us. Now we have three links, right? But what if I really do not want all of this to have an underline, right? I don't want, because this is looking, if I want to create a navigation bar, it should not be obvious that it is, I can decide to give it any color I want and remove this underline, right? So the best thing for me to do is to call out my anchor tag, like every anchor tag that I have, except I have a lot of anchor tags. So let's say I have a lot of anchor tags apart from this the anchor tag that I have here. So I want to specify it. So what I'm just going to do is to call out the nav and then give it my anchor tag here. So here I'm just going to say text decoration, and I'm going to say none. And this, can you see now that the underline has gone? So I can just decide to give it a color of black, and we have it. So right now it shows that I can click on it. It is clickable, right? But it's not really showing. It is clickable, but it's not really showing that it is a link, because we have to style our link. It does not really have to look like a link. We have to style our navigation bar. So except we are trying to write a blog whereby I want to specify that, okay, this is a link, right, and I want it to be very different from what I have, something like this. I should say I can call it here and say kind of like Google. I explained this earlier. I've done this in the previous video, but I just want to specify it again. So you can decide to say www.google.com and say visit Google. So this is quite different because it is at this middle of text, and I want it to be very obvious that this is clickable, right? It is not compared to a navigation bar whereby people already knows that, okay, these people already know that this is a navigation bar. So once they click on it, they know that it's taking them to a particular page, right? So that is what so if you want, you can decide to leave it and put underline. You can decide to just adjust it and make it depends on you, and you can decide to remove it and say none. So that is that for the text decoration. So we have another one that we call the text transformation. So now I'm just going to come here, Lauren Newson, right? Yeah, so I can decide to use the transformation here and say text transformation, and I want to adjust this to, I want everything to be in capital letter. So I can just say uppercase, and everything, you can see that it has transformed to capital letter. I can decide to adjust it and say capitalize, and can see that it has capitalized everything, that give them an initial caps. So I can as well decide to probably everything is in capital letter and decide to make it lowercase. So and everything is going to be lowercase. Can you see? Even the Lorem Ipsum that was capital letter here, the L here was changed to lowercase. So that is how you can as well transform your text. Now I want you guys to look at everything. If you are following me, I want you guys, if you are following exactly the way I'm working on it, you're also doing that on your laptop. I want you guys to look at everything we've done, digest it, put everything together, save it, and check your browser and look at how far we've gone. Look at the different how different your text looks now, how readable it looks, how clean it looks, how professional it looks. You can as well explore anyhow you want to explore your typography. And today we covered everything about CSS typography, right? We covered everything. We covered the font family, how to check Google Fonts, how to check fonts through Google Fonts and choose any kind of style you want. You can how to style your font, how to give it a font weight, and how to justify or align your text, how to as well give your text spacing and line height. We've done a lot today. So I'm going to give you guys an assignment. I want you guys to open your profile page and apply proper typography. Apply proper typography, not the boring typography we've been using right from the beginning, but the proper one. I want you guys to choose a web safe font, like the built-in fonts, and as well you can as well try to explore the Google fonts. Set your font sizes and weights, and I want you guys to adjust your paragraph, your H1. You are not using the ordinary or default typography we've been using from the beginning. We are going to be using a specific or a defined text from now on, or typography from now on. So drop your comments, share this to anybody that wants to learn HTML, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Bye.